and Ayomide, you touched on this. When people come for interviews and you ask them, do you have a question? They ask you, how much am I going to earn? I think that career-wise, you learn, then you earn. If you haven't learned anything, I'm sorry, I'm going to be the one to break the bad news to you. You haven't justified to earn yet. So be prepared to learn first. It's the knowledge you have that will command what you earn later. So I will encourage you to take the small jobs, even if it means interning at a company, just to get the entry level experience. Because those are the things that will stand you out. Because as you get into middle management, it's what you know that will help you stand out when it comes to your other mates. So be ready to take entry level jobs. Be ready to learn quickly. Ask for jobs to be given to you. So if you see someone else who's more experienced than you doing something in the company, ask. Say, can I help you do that? Can you show me how that's done? Be curious. Don't stop being curious. My children are always asking me why. When you have to tell them you have to do something a certain day, they ask you why. When you answer the why, they ask you why again. I find that once you're curious about the way things are done, you learn quickly and you will grow fast. So I hope that's helpful to people who are at the start of their career. Ayomide touched on having a viable CV. I think you did. If you haven't got I think there was a session also earlier today on CV writing. If you haven't got a viable one, make sure that you arm yourself with a viable one. And like Cletus said, be ready. Be ready. You can be called at the drop of a hat. Be ready. Don't wait until when you're called to get yourself ready. Be ready. And then put yourself out there. Put yourself out there. Look for jobs. Look for interning jobs. Look for entry-level jobs. And don't worry too much about what you earn at the start. Be more concerned about what you learn, because it will help you later on to earn. I think we should speak to the getting promoted. What does it mean?
Yeah. Can I chip in very quickly on the internship point? Internships are underrated. I was a serial intern, and in many ways, those internships are what set me up for my career, because I was not the smartest person in school. I didn't actually have great grades coming out of school. So some people would have already just cut me out. You know, my CV would not have made it to some screaming. I didn't make it to one, right? So, but the internships I did, and I remember people teasing me about it, because I was just like, I would intern, sometimes limited pay, or I would think there was no pay, and then I'll later find out there was pay, pleasantly surprised that there was pay, right? And those internships actually set me up to get to my first role. The first job I got was something I got while I was on an internship. And so, yeah, definitely, if you haven't done it, maybe you're counting the coins, like, oh, who's going to pay me, whether or not they're going to pay me, or someone has offered you something and the pay was too small. Honestly, like Rosemary said, at the moment, it's a buyer's market. It's whatever the people that are hiring you tell you that you take. Eventually, you know, in a few years, you start negotiating things, and that's nice. But in the beginning, you are padding your own CV. So if you have to work for free sometimes, and I'm not saying, you know, be a slave to some inhumane people or anything like that, no. But what it will take for you within reason to get experience on your CV, do it through the internship, even if it's for free. Do it. You'll be glad later.
Yeah, it gives you an edge over others, and you're right to say there are a lot of people who are graduating from school every year, and as an employer myself, I see a lot of people who come through, and you can clearly see the hungry ones who are ready to. I want to learn. I want in 2 years' time. I want to be a brand manager. Then you can see the ones who are saying, Madam HR Director, how much are you going to pay me before I even get myself out of the bed in the morning? You can tell who's going somewhere and who's not going anywhere. Okay, so now we've gotten past the stage of where someone has got a great CV, is prepared, has interned, gotten a job, has got into a company. How do they get promoted? What's the advice we have for them on how they can get promoted? Because obviously nobody wants to do the same job for the next 10 years. But sometimes it's people's strategy to say, leave me where I am. But just in case you're not in that bracket and you want to move quickly and you've gotten into the company, you want to move quickly, what do we advise that they do?
So if I might. Okay, cool. So again, just some tips, basically, and then basically interlace it with a bit of experience, direct experience and all that. So for me, the first thing I would tell you is, once you get into a company, you started your career, get a mentor or mentors very early. Okay? Whether it's formal or informal, get the mentor. Here's my experience. So I got into P&G. The same month I started, guess what? The brand manager who was supposed to be my direct manager got wedded. In fact, she had just wedded, and then I came in, and then the husband basically took her to London. So I lost my manager. My one-up, who is the marketing director then, was already pregnant. I needed to go back to Kenya because she was Kenyan. She's Kenyan. She went back to Kenya. So I lost my manager, my one-up, on the very first month of joining. And I got directly exposed to the general manager. And the general manager, of course, didn't have my time. He was forever demanding stuff from me. He never directed me, let alone coaching, because he didn't have the time. And coupled with also some personality crisis, with him, I can say that now because, the guy had a very well-documented anger issues. So imagine those dynamics coming together. And me being in a company of smart people. So this guy will come in and say, okay, Cletus, I need to see your penetration for this SKU for this. And I'm like, okay, where do I even get the penetration? This is 1 month of joining, right? Now, what I did was quite interesting. And probably this is what really helped me to probably get my career accelerated and, relative to my peers and all that, I made faster progress. One, I looked out, there were 3 other ladies, 2 brand manager, 1 brand manager at APL, and then there was this other lady in finance. And I started reaching out to them, informally, tagging along their teams, trying to learn, run my works by them before I go back, to share with, the general manager, right? Second tip, be very ruthless in self-learning, okay? Self-learning, building your capabilities. For me, I have to self-onboard myself. I started reading marketing textbook. That was the first time I met Kotler and Sharp, and I started reading past business reviews and history and so on and so forth. So, and that really, really helped me. Third one is also understand what performance looks like. This was very important for me, guys. Each time people say, somebody say high performer, a low performer. From my own experience, I'm not going to get this from any textbook. Okay, this is Cletus Onyebuoha speaking, basically. Performance or low performance can always be defined across 4 questions. 4 questions determines whether you perform or you don't perform. Question number 1, do you really know what to do? Second question, if you know what to do you know how to do it? This is where skill sets come in and competencies. And if you know what to do, you know how to do it, is there something stopping you from doing it? Barriers. If you know what to do, you know how to do it, there's nothing stopping you from doing it. The 4th one is, are you even willing to do it? Procrastination. Can you get over it? Now, the good news, and this is what I tell my mentees and marketers, my team every day. The good news is your manager is directly responsible for the first 3 questions. He needs to explain what to do and never leave a meeting room until you understand what to do. Simple question, but it could be very complicated. Understand objectives, understand KPIs, understand what to do. Second thing, if you don't know how to do it, seek help. Ask Mr. Manager. That's why he's earning fatter salary than you. Mr. Manager, show me how to do it. If there's an Excel sheet to run, there are some analysis to do. If you don't know how to do it or the databases or whatever, ask, receive help, right? And then the third thing for me is, if there are barriers, now this third question is very interesting. Most times, it doesn't become very obvious to you while you're talking with your manager or whoever you're receiving that work or the task for. You start doing it, then you run into barriers, maybe budget. Maybe you're waiting on somebody to do something before you can do your own. As soon as you bump into it, first thing you need to think, can I solve it? If you can solve it and move on. But if you cannot solve it, go back to Mr. Manager and say, look, you gave me this, and this deadline is going to be this date. Can you align with this person's manager so they can prioritize something for her so that she can do her bit so you can actually give you this? Otherwise, Mr. Manager, I can't deliver on Wednesday as agreed. Probably going to deliver on Friday. This is really important, barriers. Now, the third one, please just do it. Okay? If you're the type that procrastinates, and by the way, procrastination happens to all of us. There are certain tasks in marketing I hate them. The ones that are like paperwork, doing your budget tracking. I love budget tracking, but I hate the paperwork that comes with it. And I still hate it, right? What I've learned to do, right, on procrastination, once I procrastinate, then I make a commitment and say, look, I'm going to give you this. And because integrity is big for me, once I give you my word, I want to do it. And I read a lot of books. For example, Brian Tracy's Eat That Frog. They really dealt with procrastination, right? So there's another one also I read recently, powerful book, The 4% Fix by Kama Brown. I mean, these are people who understood time, and they can actually, define how you can manage your time and things like that. So for me, those are the few hacks I will give you. If you do those, I think you're pretty much on your way. The rest is about being self-aware, make sure you deliver results and be consistent in doing it. Once you do those, I think you're on your way to being promoted.
Yeah. We've got a question, Cletus. And I think Ayomide also, you may want to jump in there. We've got a question about mentorship. So the question is that how do they go about getting a mentor? And if you approach someone and they say to you, myself, I'm also looking for a mentor, what do you do? So
yeah, I think it's a very good question. So for me, when it comes to mentoring, it starts with you looking for a mentor. And I asked all the people that reach out to me on LinkedIn to say, please, I need you to mentor me. My first question is, what do you want me to mentor you on?
Yeah.
You have to know what you're looking for, right? It's a blue ocean out there, right? Be specific. What are you looking for? What capability area? What competency? What are you looking for specifically, right? Define that even before you start searching. That's the first thing. Now, going to this question directly, for me, you need to then, based on that, look at the skill sets of certain mentors or would-be mentors and all that. Does those skill sets and their particular experiences speak to what you need, right? And if they do, and then you go there, if the person has your time and so on and so forth, definitely becomes a very perfect match, right? But if you go to a mentor, a would-be mentor, and the first question is like, okay, me, I'm also looking for a mentor. He's not a mentor. So both of you are still mentees. So you have to look for somebody who really can help you, right? Because a mentor needs to have done it, need to have experienced it before they can actually help you, right? Absolutely. Otherwise, it's just going to be counterproductive. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. So, did you have anything to add, either on the mentorship or on getting promoted as in general?
Okay, on both. The mentorship one I really love because I have never, if I remember correctly, never asked anyone, can you be my mentor? But I have mentors, right? Formally or informally. What is a mentor? Someone you want to learn from, who may or may not have the opportunity to actually coach you through what you're going through because of experience. So to Cletus' point, there's something you want to learn. Instead of going to say, please, can you be my mentor? Just have your question ready and ask either when you can book time on your calendar, if they're in your office, right? You have access to their calendar. You can book time for a quick call, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. Or if it's someone that you don't have, direct access to their calendar or whatnot, just you want a quick call if you can, or can you take, depending on the gap, I guess, in seniority or whether or not it's a warm contact or a cold contact, whether you can take them to lunch or take them to coffee or meet them at their office, just have your question. And I think for some people, we always look for some far person, the person that is always is popular on LinkedIn, popular on Instagram, popular on Twitter, or on Forbes list, and who you want to ask them to be your mentor. There are people under your nose.
Yes, absolutely.
That underrated. And it's not my mentor. But no, those people are so because they have more time and they can be more invested in your life than someone who a million people are reaching out to them on LinkedIn to ask them, hello, can you be my mentor? And then Cletus has to be filling them out by asking them questions like, what do you want? Oh, what exactly do you want from me? Just know what you want to learn and ask a question. There are people that are willing to just take a quick call to answer the question without being boggled down by mentor sounds like a big deal. And some people honestly think that maybe they don't have the time to do that. But if it's a question and they can just, connect with, I went through this, so I'll be happy to share with her or him how to get through this as well. And it's a quick thing. And if you want, send follow-ups. It's like, oh, thank you so much for the time you spent with me talking about this. I've done this, and these were the results. Person becomes more invested in you. It's like, okay, this one is not a time waste. They didn't come to see me so they can take a picture and put it that they met me, whatever, So that's one way. I have literally never said you when I mentor anybody, but I've been very fortunate to have received mentorship from different people. My peers, not only senior people. So my peers and senior people as well. Because there's different types of mentorship. And people within my industry and outside of my industry, right? Some of the challenges we face cut across industry. Okay, so that's on the mentorship part. On the promotion part, you actually can start, like you said, from day one, you started your career. I even want to say from your interview. Because that time they told you, ask us anything. You could have asked some questions that would literally already start preparing me to know, in this organization, what do they reward and what do they celebrate? You would already get perspective on what success in that role would look like from your interview. And while you are there at the organization, when you have your reviews, your performance reviews, instead of just allowing your manager to tell you, you did well, you didn't do well, always be curious about, okay, to do better, what's required of you.